I gave up alcohol over 3 years ago, and that decision has led me on to a spiritual journey, and my whole life has changed since then. My past is my past, and there was two turning points in my life which needed for me to take action and make the changes because it wasn't serving me. I'm going to share these stories with you because when I was struggling and I knew that I had to make some changes, it was hearing the stories of other people that really helped me on my way. It inspired me to take action, and it gave me hope because hearing the other stories didn't then make my situation seem as bad. And if they got through it all, I thought if they've done it, I 100% can do it now. So 4 years ago, I was on a school union style wedding. It was in Cyprus. 2 people from my school had been with each other all that time, and a lot of my mates had been invited that I hadn't seen in a long time. I assumed it'd be quite a healthy trip. My first morning, got up early, went for a run, and then their hotel was all inclusive, which meant free drinks all day long. So rather than a wedding, it turned out like a stag do. It was carnage, it was mayhem. And throughout the week, I was drinking a lot. And there was a moment in the day where I got hit with this, like a panic attack. That's the best way I could describe it at the time. It's like I was getting daggered. And I had my business back home and I felt out of control. I had payments to make to staff and I literally had no organisation at that point to know what was coming in. So my mind just took over and I started panicking that I wasn't going to be able to pay my staff. I started getting all these daggers and it felt really uncomfortable. Later on that night, we went to a nightclub and I'm crying in the middle of the nightclub, crying my eyes out, and I couldn't tell you why. And at that point, I knew I was having a breakdown. I literally felt so low. I then booked the wrong flight home, so it meant I was in Cyprus on my own for an extra day. And in that day, it really hit me. I was getting daggered left, right, and centre, and all these daggers felt like reminders, things that I had just procrastinated on, things that I just left. And all these little things that would seem insignificant all added up. And I remember sitting on the Lilo thing on the beach and I wrote down every thought was coming up. It was constant. I'm moving like this. It was horrible. I had 83 things on my list, from not replying to voicemails or responding to emails and having work that I had to complete for deadlines. I was so far behind, I just left it. I had about 25 unread or unlistened voicemails on my phone. I just refused to listen to them, and it just kept building up. I remember crying on the phone to my mum, and it's the first time I really spoke to her about any of this. And yeah, it was a wake-up call. So I come back, and my mum, as parents do, she recommended me to go on a mindfulness course. I went on this course, and at the time, I just thought it was a waste of time. I was sitting there, this hippie guy with no shoes on, long hair, and all these beads around his neck, made me hold a prune. And there was a whole room, like a circle, alcohol anonymous, it felt like. And he said, hold the prune, smell the prune, be present with the prune. And I'm sitting there like, it's a prune, what is this? We did a meditation at the end, and I just remember waking up because I was snoring so loud the guy had grabbed my foot. And I left that session thinking, wow, I now know what present is. And I wasn't present at all. I didn't remember anything that was said. Then it hit me that my memory was so bad. I used to go into lectures. I didn't retain any of the information. I used to go on dates. I don't remember too much what was said. I used to blame the alcohol. And this happened time and time again. And it was because my mind was so distracted with all these other things that were going on in my life. And the incident in Cyprus had really hit me hard because I couldn't understand what it was. So at the same time, a client of mine recommended me to do Deepak Chopra's 21 free meditation with Oprah. And I remember listening to the first one, and within the first thing he said, it just resonated with me. It just made complete sense. The meditation I found very difficult to concentrate. It was mantra driven, so you had to say these things repeatedly in your head, and didn't really take too much of it. Every time I meditated, I'd lie down and fall straight asleep, but I was still anxious, still nervous all the time. So I started cutting down on drink. After that, there was a stag do that I had to cancel with a close friend of mine, just the fact that I was in such a bad place. And then over that period, this was like September, in October I went out for a night out with a friend and I got arrested. I got arrested for drunk and disorderly and resisting arrest. That's what I was charged for. Originally I was charged for theft and assault of a police officer, which sounds really bad. And all it was is that my friend was sick in a cab. I'd come back, I'd gone straight to the shop, and the policeman happened to be with a cab driver and said that we weren't paying for the funds. And at the time, drunk, cheeky, got my phone out, started recording him, and ended up in the cell. And the stress that caused other people, I didn't think it was a big thing at all until after. I had a meeting planned where teachers from all over the country were coming down. I was leading that. I was inside, my business partner to take over, so stress for him. My parents, obviously telling them. So it wasn't good. So coincided with the breakdown, I then got arrested there. Then there was a stag do, one of my best mates, in March the following year. And this period I'd really cut down on drinking. And I really didn't want to go. And my friends were saying, just come, go on, you'll be fine. The Friday night went on, messy night, enjoying my time there. The Saturday came, I woke up in the cell, in my swimming shorts. I have no memory at all how I got in there, and it was horrible. And I was in there all day on Sunday because they're not open on Sunday, so I was in there for 24 hours straight away, not knowing why I was in there. None of the police were talking to me. I had no clothes. It was quite scary. Then finally I got to speak to someone. Attempted robbery of a car I was charged for. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you tried hotwiring the car. And as soon as they said that, I knew they were lying because I don't know how to hotwire a car. But then they put me back in the cell and my mind's going, oh my God, what have I done? Do this, do that. And it just constantly, all these horrible thoughts. I was in there for 40 hours and it was like a movie. It was like a movie where I had 3 meals a day. It was one of these horrible pasta pots, which must have been stored for about 5 years. There was all the tiles on the wall, which I ended up counting because there was nothing else to do. And within that, my mind's going off on, oh my God, what did you do? What have you done? And then all these different regrets going forward. And I was there for 40 hours. I missed my flight home. My friends gratefully waited for me, and some of them did. And I come back. And I remember, because they waited, we went to a restaurant first and they ordered a pint and I ordered it and I couldn't drink it. I literally looked at it and said, I'm not drinking this. Came back and considering this is 6 months on, the same client then advised me, said, I don't think alcohol serves you. What would it look like if you stopped? And I'm like, oh, I haven't got a problem, in denial. And it's not a problem in terms of I need alcohol, it's a problem of I got myself into trouble. I forgot my nights. I did things that I wasn't impressed with. I did things that I was ashamed of. And the worst part about it, I don't remember most of my nights. So I thought about it, I was like, okay, maybe not actually. All my mates, they all drink all the time and we've got all the work to do. It's like, I'm making all these excuses up in my head. The truth, I needed to. When I was in that cell, I was staring at the cell with piss, urine coming in. The person next door was just pissing out and it was coming into my cell. And I'm staring at the floor thinking, I have got no control of my life right now. I can't live my life like this. And I can only imagine when people are locked up for years, like what would that be like? So in the end, I took my client's advice and I decided to stop drinking. And the first test was the wedding. The wedding was a few weeks in. Obviously, there's loads of stories now that from the stag do, drunken idiots inside, and I turned up and I didn't drink. And it was funny how you're met with so much resistance from people. They don't trust you. You're boring, are common comments. But then you'll get people that sympathise with you, say, well done, fair play. You get others that just think it's going to be short term, as they do. They only know you as one person. And then you get people who's like, you need to be more responsible, stop letting your parents down. I was getting advice from all over. So this was interesting, but what I did realise at that wedding, that there was a few drunken idiots, embarrassingly drunk. And it was cringy to watch. And the scary thing is, I would have been worse than most of these people. I'd have been that happy idiot trying to make people laugh. But in the grand scheme of things, I was just embarrassing myself, having that reputation. And that was an eye-opener for me as well. Wow, that's what I'm potentially like with not even realising. So then I spoke to a few people that didn't drink at the wedding, which I didn't know about. They recommended me a book, The Unexpected Joys of Being Sober. I read that book and it was an eye-opener. It was actually, gave me a bit of confirmation to say that you're okay. Some people are a lot worse. Some people are addicted. Some people go through hell when it comes to alcohol. I hadn't gone to that, and I don't ever want to get close to that after reading this book. But it also helped me along the way then. And giving up alcohol was a spiritual journey for me. And there's loads of things. There's awareness. You remember your nights. You save your money. You're in control of your own decisions. You're met resistance, but you still are in control of your own decisions. That's their opinion. It doesn't matter about how people react to it. It's what you want to do. It also challenges your willpower, the amount of people that will test it. I had a friend that came over from Belgium. I entertained him and his mate in London. 13 pints in a row. Come on, have one, just have one. Constantly. No, I'm good. And along the way of giving up alcohol, we're met with resistance. We know it's coming. The football was on, and my mates drink a lot. So I'd meet my mates on nights out, and I saw carnage. And first of all, I thought, come on, you're boring. Or when I'd meet other people, I was shy about saying I don't drink. And like the faces people would pull and the frown, they only pulled that because I wasn't confident with it. I was embarrassed to say that I gave up. In the end, I was like, oh, I got arrested. I'm trying to justify it. So the shift really took place over this period from when I was like, oh, I don't really want to drink tonight, or trying to hide it, to I don't drink. That's it. I don't drink. Doesn't even really get to a why. Why not? It doesn't serve me at all. I'm so happy in my life at the moment. Doesn't serve me. So I don't drink. Ends it. And you met with 3 people. Acceptance, it's fine. Justifying their actions. Oh, I don't really drink that much. Well, they've got a drink in their hand. It's cool. You can do what you need to. And then you got others that won't even speak to you. They just find you despicable that you don't drink. They don't trust you. And what I now think that is because they are not going to be them. They're going to be drunk. And they're going to worry about me judging them because now I can see what they're doing. Whereas before I was a part of that. And before I'd say that that's now hiding from the things in my life that I wasn't happy with. The stresses, my work, my business. I was hiding. And the alcohol was a great way to get out of your conscious state. You disappear from it, but what always come back was regret. What always come back was a headache. What always come back was embarrassment. And I used to lose my weekends. I used to stay in bed most of the weekends. I get the weekends, I'm up at 6 most days. I get to enjoy my life now. And there's something profound about being able to stick to your own guns, making a big decision, making a decision that is going to be met with resistance from people closest to you. Some people just literally don't get it. They just can't get their head around it. But again, that's okay. I don't have to fight against that now. As long as I'm confident, as long as I turn up as my best self, as long as I'm smiling and happy, your true friends and your true loved ones will show themselves. And if they don't want you to be happy, maybe they're not the right people for you. But the other thing is that other people are allowed to drink. I'm not a preacher. I don't say this is how it is now, or you see this a lot with veganism, or you see this a lot with people that have given up alcohol. It becomes their identity now, and they push it all on other people. Everyone's entitled to their own life, their own decisions. But what I can tell you is my life has changed a lot. My confidence has changed a lot. My clarity has changed a lot. And I'm in flow a lot of the time. And I do think alcohol disconnects us from our flow. Alcohol brings up these experiences and feelings that we don't need in our life. We have a choice. We can choose how we feel. When we're drunk, we don't get that choice. We just fall into certain situations and then we wake up with those feelings that we didn't want to take on initially. It's a bad negative energy, it's a vibration. But also alcohol stimulates other things in our life. If you look at our most arguments, if you look at our most suffering and stuff, a lot of the time there is some alcohol involved. So since then, I'm so confident when I go out now. I don't stay out till stupid o'clock in the morning. I can now say I'm going home at this time and let everyone else stay out, that's fine. I've accepted that now. I've accepted that my money spent is so much better. I have money behind me now, rather than waking up with these receipts in my pocket. I'm like, where is that gone? It's so powerful. So if you ever are thinking about giving up alcohol, and again, it's a process, it's a journey. We don't need to make all these changes all in one go. We can gradually do it. But the key bit is setting the intention before going out, setting the intention for the month, setting the intention for these nights that are going to be coming up. And when you do set the intention with a game plan, you can stick to it. And I've worked with a number of people now who reached out, same problem, they go out and they turn into this horrible person, a person they're not proud of, a person they're ashamed for their loved ones to see. But it happens. And there's only so much, I believe, that we can take of it. There's only so much suffering that we need to put ourselves through, because we don't need to do it. We can choose a life that we live, a happy life. And I really believe that removing this has helped me. Well, it has. There's no doubt about it. And what it also has shown me is that you meet so many other people. You're not the only one. Sometimes that's scary, being the only one, but you meet a lot of people all being on similar paths. They've done things that they're not proud of, and they've given it up. They've knocked it on the head, and their whole life has gone in a new direction. I met a lot of successful people, and they've all said, the moment I gave up alcohol, my life changed. I'm now leading into that category too. So I wanted to share that with you, to say that we do have a past. We do have things that we're not proud of. I can go even deeper into some of my actions, which I'm not proud of at all, but they'll come out now, I can own them. But what I can do is share these now to help other people to make decisions. And if you are looking to make a decision in your life, it's to be confident enough to do that, to know what's going to be coming your way, but to also know that you have a game plan, so when it does come your way, you can deal with it. It's not an issue, it's not a dress, it's not a drama. So if alcohol is an issue, drugs is an issue, these late nights out are an issue, and you just can't seem to get yourself out of this rut, out of this downward spiral, reach out. I can 100% help in terms of bringing you present, in terms of going back to find out where the things are not serving you, and start looking at a life that you do want, which you're in control of, and you can create all of it.